Welcome to 'Tis the Soundtrack, the channel dedicated to digging deep and bringing you the merriest of music all year long. I'm your host, Kevin Williams, and today we're talking about an album with a fascinating history. It was the brainchild of a rock star creative agency, featured brand new Christmas songs from over a dozen up-and-coming indie artists, was used as the soundtrack for a massive holiday advertising campaign, and was given away completely free. This is one of the topics that got me excited to start 'Tis the Soundtrack. This is Target's The Christmas Gig 2010, Part 1. Let me start by saying I don't think this album could be made today. Or, maybe more accurately, I don't think this album would be made today. The relationships between record labels, advertisers, streaming platforms, and the artists who are continually undercompensated would make pulling off something like this a feat in 2024. Everything is just too messy now. By comparison, in 2010, anything was possible. People were still buying music, albeit the shift was already well underway from CD to MP3. The handful of streaming platforms that existed were still in their infancies, and we had just spent the last 10 years watching relatively unknown indie acts be slingshotted into the mainstream consciousness by the way of Apple, the OC, Zach Braff, and others.
What are you listening to?
The Shins. You know them?
No.
You gotta hear this one song. It'll change your life, I swear.
For the 2010 holiday season, Target turned to creative agency Wieden+Kennedy to develop their advertising campaigns. These are the same marketing wizards who created the ubiquitous Just Do It campaign for Nike in the late 80s, and more recently handled the insanity that was Grimace's birthday for McDonald's.
Happy birthday,
For Target, WK developed two campaigns. The first, and the one which appears to be more firmly cemented into the memories of the interwebs, was The Crazy Target Lady, a series of television and internet ads featuring Minnesota-raised comedian Maria Bamford as the titular character, a completely unhinged Black Friday prepper.
The Target 2-day sale is almost here. The last thing that's going to stop me is weak thighs. Mountain Series, level 10, backwards.
The second, and less remembered campaign is the one that resulted in the creation of this album. According to creative director Don Shelford, the campaign was an attempt to freshen up the Christmas music genre. WK created some advertisement themes and sent out briefs to over 100 artists, including the likes of Dan Deacon, Blackalicious, and Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. The resulting songs, all of which were brand new original Christmas music, became the soundtrack to the advertising campaign. I haven't been able to confirm how many artists in total answered the call and provided Target with new holiday tunes, but 14 tracks were ultimately collected into the Christmas Gig 2010, a free digital album you could stream and download from Target's website throughout the 2010 holiday season. Additionally, Target and WK worked with Gotta Groove Records to produce an extremely limited run of promotional vinyl, including a pair of red 7-inch singles and a full-length album pressed in clear vinyl and containing 11 of the 14 tracks from the digital download. These were sent out, along with flip video cameras, if anyone remembers those, to the media outlets and influencers of the day. In researching for this episode, I stumbled across the Rockin' Mama blog, whose author received 5 copies of the 7-inch single containing the tracks Tiny Tree Christmas and Perfect Gift to give out to her followers.
I never wish for Christmas snow, red ribbons and velvet.
The full-length promo album contained Tiny Tree Christmas by Guster, Snow is Falling by Darker My Love, Perfect Gift by Natalie Hemby, 10,000 Watts by Crystal Antlers, You'll Never Find My Christmas by Bishop Allen, Get Down for the Holidays by Jenny O, Mrs. Claus Ain't Got Nothin' on Me by Little Jackie, Electronic Santa by Blazer Force, Got Something for You by Best Coast and Wavves, It's Christmas by Coconut Records, and Party Hard by Little Isidore. Not present on the vinyl album, but appearing on the digital download and used in advertising were Toy Jackpot by Blackalicious, Super Mama by the Pinkertones, Un Regalo para Mim by Ceci Bastida. There are a few important points to make here. First, according to Target's press release, only 8 of these songs were used in the TV spots. That means the other 6 were commissioned for the project, never used in advertising, and still given out for free. Second, the album download was literally a zip file containing MP3s. 2010 was a while back technologically speaking, but it still amazes me that there were no barriers. No account sign up needed, no email list to join, no hashtags to tweet, no likes and subscribes, nothing. Just click button, get music done. Again, it would be hard to imagine any of this happening today in 2024. Finally, let's take a moment to think about the fact that this album was never made commercially available outside of the free digital download and promo records. I get the market for vinyl in 2010 wasn't nearly as hot as it is today, but Target was no stranger to producing exclusive CDs at the time. They released Songs for a Cause in 2008, benefiting the Salvation Army, and Disney's Winter Wonderland in 2010, benefiting the Walt Disney Corporation, I assume, the latter of which being on store shelves at the same time this campaign was gearing up. Exclusive merch was familiar ground to Target.
Merchandising? Merchandising? What's that?
My completely uneducated and admittedly under-researched opinion is that a few things could have been working against this album seeing a proper physical release. Licensing and usage restrictions on the songs would be the most straightforward reason. Lack of time could be another. Manufacturing and distribution takes time. To get discs on shelves in time for the holiday season, you have to do all the other preceding work up front, including campaign development, corporate sign-offs, artist engagement, music review. All of it has to happen much, much earlier. It's entirely possible that a CD release was never in the cards simply due to the timeline of the campaign. Or, and possibly the most interesting of reasons, selling CDs was completely superfluous to the underlying goal of the campaign. In 2010, Target was in the final throes of a partnership with Amazon to manage its online shopping presence. This was something fairly common with large retailers at the time. Toys R Us, Borders, and Circuit City all had similar arrangements with Amazon providing their digital infrastructure, while increasingly competing directly against them in their respective online spaces. These names might not sound like great company today, and the same was true in 2010. Circuit City had shuttered its locations the year prior, while Borders was teetering on the edge of bankruptcy at the time. And Toys R Us appeared to be another sinking ship, albeit a bit slower.
I wanna be a Toys R Us kid.
Target needed to avoid the same fate. Where the others had put paltry sums into developing their own Amazon-less e-commerce sites, Target was investing billions at the time into their own homegrown alternative. Target needed to create some online shopping momentum going into 2011 and the impending launch of its own online storefront. This, I believe, was the ultimate goal of the campaign, and why Target and WK were laser-focused on using the free album download to drive traffic to the website. All of the campaign television spots ended with the message, "Get this song free at target.com/Christmas." And Target spent the month of December marching its artists out to perform their new tracks on the morning and late show circuits. Little Jackie performed Mrs. Claus Ain't Got Nothin' on Me Christmas morning on NBC's Weekend Today show, and Darker My Love performed Snow is Falling on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Snow is Falling from Target's free downloadable album, The Christmas Gig, Darker My Love.
Speculation aside, and regardless of the true reason, the result is an extremely rare album that does not surface often. Discogs only shows 8 transactions for this album, ever, each in the $40 to $65 range, and at the time of this episode, there is a single copy listed on eBay for a whopping $750. But all is not lost to the annals of time. At least one of these songs recently received new life by way of a streaming holiday special, and through the magic that is the Wayback Machine, there might just be a way to download the original digital album in its entirety. We'll cover these things, along with my favorite tracks from the album, in part 2 of this episode. Until then, thank you for listening to 'Tis the Soundtrack. This is Kevin Williams, saying cheers and Merry Christmas.